Good evening and welcome to the final Beyond the Front Page show for this fall 2024 semester here at Cayuga Community College. This is a show that's shown on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, as well as ARMA, the Auburn Regional Media Access, and Win 89.1, the college's radio station. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. Well, the political campaign of 2024 is over for at least politics. The United Way campaign is in the middle of their process, and we're going to talk about that with the two people who are heading it up this year. Kathryn Dennis, who is the executive director of the Cayuga County United Way, and Julisa Stone-Szpaicher, who is their campaign and marketing director, to talk about the campaign, which has a little bit of a twist from past years when they've been here. As you said at the beginning, it's a new approach. Instead of looking at an overall goal amount, they're looking at increasing the number of gifts. So we'll talk about all of that. I should start off with by welcoming you all back, but also congratulations to you, because if people had watched this in the past, that was not your last name when the last time you were. So you just got married, you're a Wells alum, you're an odd.
Yes.
That's not a negative for those who are not there. If you graduated in 01, you're an odd. If you're 02, you're an even. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So,
I'm also CCC alum.
and a CC, so great for you, and welcome both back to the studio.
Thank you.
So as I said at the beginning, you're not doing the normal, we're going to raise, because I think last time you were on, the goal was $800,000, and that was 2 years ago. So now it is about getting a number of gifts. Why the change? Then we'll get to what the number is.
Yeah. I think the last couple of years, as we all know, unfortunately, inflation is here. Everything is more expensive for ourselves, for our families, for our community. We had a couple of years of, we did hit goal the first year. I think it was my first year with the United Way, but then we had a couple of years where we did not. But we also, I think more importantly, want to focus on the community as a whole and getting the story of the United Way out there, the story of our agencies, and just making sure our community is aware of what we're doing. So the only way to do that is make sure that we're getting into the community and hitting more parts of it. So rather than focusing on a dollar, we wanted to focus on the number of people we reach.
But your goal is still, you raised 630 last year, you would still 31, you'd still want to hit that number this year at least to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've changed from a goal of that to a number of gifts. So what's your new goal number of gifts?
So our goal is 2,000 gifts this year, and that is a very hefty goal for us. That's more than 500 gifts than we received last year.
But you were up last year. If I remember, looking at your website, you were up about 11% in the number of gifts.
In community gifts,
In community
not
gifts.
in workplace gifts.
The workplace, okay. So what's the difference between the two?
So workplace campaign. So yeah, our dollars are divided between workplace giving and community giving. So we've got about 60 workplaces who run a local drive and work directly with us, and so all of that gets counted as workplace giving. That's employee gifts, corporate gifts. If they have a foundation, their foundation gifts. However, individual community members, our foundations like the Emerson and French and Metcalf, and then events and many fundraisers that we do with the community, like everything else that's not workplace falls under community giving.
As a percentage, what is workplace as a percentage of your campaign versus other?
It's between those two broad categories, it's split 50-50. 50% of our campaign comes from workplace.
So your 11% being up was in what category?
In the community, everything but
Individual.
workplace.
Okay.
Yep.
So you usually, I know the campaign has also changed since the first time I did an interview on this.
Yep.
It used to be, let's just say, the week after Labor Day, and you usually ended the first week of December. Was that. The campaign schedule has changed dramatically, or it's evolved. I'm not going to say devolved. It's evolved over time. So what's the window now?
So as an organization, we technically fundraise year round. So once one campaign ends, we immediately start the next one.
Because you'll have some workplace presentations in the summer.
Yep, we do, because
Yep.
while most United Ways run on a fall, so the answer to your first question the main, what people think of as our campaign season is September through mid-March for us.
Okay.
But we do fundraise year-round because while most United Ways do a fall campaign, there are others like Rochester and
Rochester's
Finger
a
Lakes.
different
Yep,
schedule.
spring.
they do
Time.
spring campaigns, so it's different. So because like
So you're not mandated to do a specific
No.
window on there. And were you going to say something else on this?
Oh no, I was just that was it. Yeah.
So all right. So going back to the campaign, the other change, it seems to be, from what I've read and information that you all sent in advance, which I appreciate, is you're also doing a more regional approach. We're long and narrow county, so I know you were doing breakfast on Sunday.
Yes.
Tell us first of all about that, because we should give a plug out to
Yeah.
to a business that's helping the United Way.
Absolutely. So Cook's Village Diner in Weedsport, they're hosting Sunday Smiles. So every Sunday in November, I believe was it 20% of their sales is actually coming back to the United Way to support the campaign. So there's one Sunday left.
Okay.
So you can still get breakfast and or lunch. It depends on how hungry you are and how many times you want to head out. So this Sunday will be the last Sunday that they do it for us.
So that would be a northern Cayuga
Yep.
County. So break me down by region and what you're doing in general, unless you have some specifics about each of the regions. Let's start central and go north and then south.
In terms of events or?
Well, is it events? When you say you're going to a regional approach, what does that
Yeah,
mean?
there's a couple of different aspects. So the idea, I mean, I'll start with the idea, and then Julisa can speak about, specifically sharing agency stories by region, which is really important and a huge aspect of this. But when we were preparing for our 100th anniversary for the museum exhibit with the Cayuga Museum,
2022.
Yep, we found, of course, a ton of wonderful newspaper articles and archives sharing about how campaigns were done regionally. Everyone was split up by town, by village, campaigning to their neighbors, sharing stories specifically about the programs and how they impacted where they're living.
Okay.
So that's how it used to be done.
Does that mean that the money you will give will be distributed, if what you raise in northern Cayuga County will stay in northern Cayuga County, what raised in central will stay in Auburn and the donor
Right.
towns, and then south?
No, not exactly. It's just, say we're going to the Weedsport School District, or presenting maybe at Lunkenheimer or something, and you can share how many riders were on Scat Van that month that lived in Weedsport.
Okay.
So that
Specific
that
to the
means
geography, so that you're
Right.
not saying Scat Van served
right.
70,000 people,
Exactly.
and people say, okay, 70,000, but what does that mean if
Yep.
I'm living in Weedsport or Cato
Yep.
Yeah.
or in Aurora?
Yep. Exactly.
So I wanted to go to the southern part of the county because there has been a change there, and I was wondering if Wells closure has changed the dynamic for your campaign, because there were obviously, I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption, there are a number of Wells employees who donated to the United Way, but it's also a shift economically down there. So are you seeing in the 2 or 3 months that you've had the campaign, the announcement was 6 months ago, are you seeing any shift on the Aurora area for your campaign?
We haven't done a deep dive look on the numbers versus regional yet, just because the campaign had launched only in September. So all of our letters go out to community members in first week of October, and we're still getting all of those donations in. We are having a very strong community campaign so far. Like community-wise, we send out probably 800 letters, and we get, I think it was like 350 gifts from community individuals, not the businesses. And right now we're at 100 and we're at
127. No, sorry.
180.
Okay.
So we have 180 community gifts that have come in since we sent that out. So that's like more than half of
Yeah,
what.
so you're
pretty strong.
about a quarter.
Yeah.
So do you expect, I want to get into the agencies you fund, do you expect that you will see a spike in service requests for that area, though? For the Wells, Aurora, Ledyard area?
I don't think we know that information yet. I mean,
So
No.
today, you just gave us one number, the 180. Where does the campaign stand? You're about 2 months in.
Yes.
4 months to go. Where are you?
We are at 40%. We have 799 gifts to the campaign so far. So it's going very strong. At this time last year, we only had 719. So that's 80 gifts more than last year. That's a significant increase. And we know that it has a lot to do with shifting from that dollar amount to a number of gifts amount. Just like in the campaigns, as Kathryn mentioned earlier, being able to walk into the school at Cato, my first presentation with this new approach, I was able to give them very specific numbers on who in Cato was using those dollars. And their campaign saw, 150% increase in the number of people who were giving, as well as an 85% increase in the dollars. And like knowing that your immediate neighbors are benefiting from these has been a huge impact.
So while you may not be tracking this as to get to a goal number, whatever it is, are you on track to hit what you do need to do in real dollars? Forget the number of gifts. Are you 2 out of 6 months into this? Are you on track at this stage? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you think you're ahead?
Yes.
Okay.
This time last year, if you take out 2 large gifts that we anticipate getting, we are about $13,000 ahead of where we were last year.
Yeah.
So where does the money go? So you have a number of agencies, a family of agencies. How many agencies do you fund now? Because it's changed a lot. Again, let's just look back 10 years, pre-COVID. But 10 years ago, it was 23, 24 agencies on average. How many are you funding now?
So 24 with 35 programs. 25 and 34. I always swap that.
Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean to everybody? Me and them.
So member agencies, some of them put in applications for funding for multiple programs.
So there are 25 member agencies, and then of that, there are 34 programs.
Right.
So we know the traditional ones, the YMCA, Matthew House, I believe. Is it Matthew House? No?
They're not.
Okay,
no,
so give us some examples.
Hospice.
Hospice, okay.
They returned. They used to be a member agency, and we're really glad that they've returned as a funded member agency this year.
So sometimes they come in, they go out, they come back.
Sure.
Yep.
So give us, can you give us a quick list of maybe 5 or 6 or 10 that people would know those are because your agencies are cradle to grave.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Well, the ones who were our original member agencies that most people know are the American Red Cross, Girl Scouts, the Scouting America, which is formerly Boy Scouts, Cayuga Counseling Services, which is very prominent in this region, the Auburn YMCA, and I'm missing the 6th one.
So go back to the first 3 because they have changed. They used to have. Literally used to have offices here, but the Boy Scouts have changed, the Girl Scouts have changed, and the Red Cross has changed. So when you give money to those agencies, is it to those agencies or to those agencies to fund programs in Cayuga County?
That's exactly it.
And how do you track that?
Well, they may be, so as you said, they may be headquartered in Rochester, headquartered in Syracuse, wherever it may be, but they have operations in Cayuga County, so the Red Cross Disaster Services. They have volunteers in Cayuga County who mobilize when there's an emergency, a house fire or something like that. And the same goes for Scouting America or the Girl Scouts. They have Cayuga County troops.
Okay.
So we have a reporting process that we use with our funded member agencies, and they submit reports to us biannually.
And how often can they apply to become a member agency? Is it every 2 years? Is it every year?
It was every year. We're actually going to change to every 2 years.
So it's a 2-year cycle.
Yeah.
But even if they're accepted to 2 years, if you don't make the campaign, God forbid, that doesn't guarantee their funding. It just means they're part of the pool.
That's exactly it.
And let's
Yep.
let's take hospice, because I know that's the outlier of all outliers. People donate. Sometimes you get more. You may do an allocation. Let's just say it's $10. I know it is not, but you do $10, but you may raise 12. Hospice gets all 12.
So
If you go over what they've
right.
been
If
allocated.
there's a designation from the community or workplace campaign that they want hospice to receive $15,000, but they request 12, we give 15 because that's what our donors want them to have.
Who's your newest agency? Who are your newest agencies right
We
now?
got two brand new agencies.
Okay.
Not
Very
only are they
exciting.
new to the United Way, they're new to the community. One of them is FLIC. It stands for Finger Lakes Incubator and Commercial Kitchen. And
This is going into the old Indelicados.
yes,
Which
they're-
is the Deloyas. We hope to have them on in the spring when
Oh,
they're further
yes.
along. I got to tour
great.
their facility the other day.
oh, nice.
It's very cool, but it's in the old, and they're going to do what there?
So what we funded was actually their summer program with the City of Auburn, the summer recreation. And the first year they did it was 2 summers ago, I guess. They did cooking classes once a week for the 6 weeks that summer camp was in session. And it's back to back, so they taught multiple classes, the same cuisine that day. This past summer, what they were able to do with the United Way funding is they were able to offer that 3 days a week for the 6 weeks. They had 18 different cuisines that they taught youth how to make. It's different cultures and ethnicities, like different healthy foods and snacks. The students who went through the programs, they'd get a cutting board, a safety knife, and then at the end they got actually a small portion of the ingredients so they could recreate it for their families at home.
So that's one. What's the other one?
The other one is Auburn Music Boosters,
Okay.
and so that's one-on-one music lessons primarily during the summer, but they do stuff year round.
That's not performed for purpose.
Nope,
No.
different group.
Okay.
But they're also countywide. One of my favorite facts is of the 34 programs, 29 of them have the capacity to be countywide based on who's using them.
So we're going to do this now, and we're going to do it at the end.
All right.
How does somebody donate? That's why you're here, by the way. So it took us a couple minutes to get there. So
got
if somebody
there.
wants to donate, what's the easiest, other than sending a check to the Cayuga County United Way, care of 2 State Street, which is where your offices are, next to Nash's, or dropping them off on the first floor, they will
Yep.
take them. How does somebody donate to the United Way?
You can visit unitedwayofcayugacounty.org, and then on the top right-hand part of the screen, there is a donate button.
It's a secure electronic.
Yep, and
And
it's
it should be Cayuga County United Way, not just the United Way. You need to
Right.
pick Cayuga County, correct?
yeah, unitedwayofcayugacounty.org is where you want to go.
And if someone is affiliated with a workplace, you can actually choose your workplace. So it,
And
that-
it can
for
come out of your
workplace
paycheck.
campaigns.
Yep.
For workplace campaigns.
Is there an average size donation you get?
It's usually, the average is 100,
Okay.
but we get gifts of all sizes from $5 to $10,000. And it all goes, and a gift, even a lot of people I've heard in the community is like, oh, what's $5 going to do? It's not worth the time at the United Way to process this $5, but
Well,
when
you served, and I know on your website, this 2021 number, you served 46,000 people through your agencies. That's a big number.
Yeah.
That's 2/3, maybe not 2/3, but it's closer to 60% of the county population, one way or the other. Are those duplicate or unduplicated counts, or you don't know on that number of the 46,000? That's on your
so
way?
for the agencies, when they turn in their individual report, they just send us a number. Is
It's
one
their
person
unduplicate. It might be.
using multiple agencies? We don't know that.
So, in the past, you've had campaign chairs. Do you have campaign chairs still?
We do. We
And
do.
who are they?
They are actually regional chairs.
Okay.
So we have several.
Go ahead.
Christine Bickle is our co-chair in County South.
Okay.
We have Brian and Amanda Jesse in County Central.
Okay.
And we have Jenny Bartholomew and Joanna Belinsky, County North.
And what are their
So-
responsibilities? Besides to get you into places where you can make a pitch.
Well, I think, along with us sharing the story, the regional stories in the county, these folks also live in those places. So they know their communities, they know their neighbors, they know what's going on. So they help us get the United Way story to the community, to different workplaces. They come to workplace presentations with us. A lot of them have either volunteered with the United Way for a long time or a member agency. They may have worked for a member agency in the past. So they help us get connections within that community locally.
So separate from the 25 that you, agencies, you're also doing these community build mini grants. I'm assuming those are not part of these 25 necessarily, correct?
Right.
So what is a community building mini grant?
So this was something we started planning and preparing to launch in 2021, kind of modeled on the COVID PPE
Right.
grant that we did. I think in 2020 into the end of maybe the beginning of 21. It's up to $1,000, open to any nonprofit in the county.
It's not for individuals, it's for not-for-profits.
It is.
Okay.
It is for nonprofit
and
organizations.
So when can they apply?
Anytime. It's a rolling application.
And do you have a set number of dollars that's available for that?
Up to $1,000.
No, no, I meant overall.
Oh, we do, and that it changes based on
So this year,
campaign and
can you give out $5,000? Can you give out
Right.
10?
7.
7, okay. And you also, I want to go through a couple quick, I know we only have about 10 minutes left. I want to go through a couple of new programs that you have or things that we haven't covered here. So you've got the Book Buddies program. What is that?
Book Buddies is a program we're piloting with Genesee Elementary through the Auburn District. It is a literacy and mentorship program. We are recruiting community volunteers, and we're going in and reading with second graders. So,
And it's at Genesee. Is this the first year you've done it?
First year.
Genesee's my
Yes.
alma mater, so
Oh, okay.
I love that school, with big G's. So what's your budget for that?
We don't have a budget at the moment. We're applying for a grant next year. The kindness of the librarian and the building leadership at Genesee, we can use library books this year.
Okay, so
Yep.
you're reading, this is different than the Imagination Library.
It is, yes.
Okay. So on that front, does that still exist? That used to be run through the Gavra Center?
It still is through the
And
Gavra.
does the United Way fund any of that?
No, we don't get requests for funding anymore.
Okay.
Yep. But that is still run through the Gavra Center.
And is the Book Buddies, it's a pilot program I would consider for this year.
Yep.
Does that mean you're going to go to other Auburn schools in the coming year? Or are you looking to branch this out countywide? And what's the goal?
Sure. Ideally, countywide would be great. But we're starting with Genesee to see, it's volunteer driven, so we need to see how many volunteers we can recruit for this program to make it viable. Also will depend on a grant that we are applying for in the spring. I think the goal is to provide another mentorship opportunity for our young kids, but also to work on literacy and helping kids read on grade level. It's a very small part of that effort in our education system, but so far we've had a lot of great volunteers.
So I don't know if I caught, did you have a number where how many children you've seen so far in that program?
It's one-on-one. We're matched all year long. So the whole
all
academic
grades, K through 6?
No, second grade.
Just second grade?
Just second grade.
Okay.
Yep. So I think we have 11 kids.
Okay. And so they're regularly read to. Are they identified by the district?
They're teachers.
By the teacher.
And of course they need to, have permission from parents and caretakers. So, but they've been identified by teachers and we're matched up for the whole academic year. So, I get to read with the same student each time.
Okay. So the other program that you do run through the United Way that is not right now, but it kind of kicks off in 2 months now, is the CASH program.
Yes.
What does CASH stand for?
Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope. So CASH for Cayuga County.
And then what is CASH do?
It's a free tax preparation program.
And is there income eligibility on there in the sense that you Will you do anybody's tax returns?
No, it's income eligibility based. So the IRS releases the total exact amount each year. I don't have that yet, but it's around 60 or 65,000 for household income.
And it starts roughly when?
End of January.
And where is it at?
Waiting to hear, and historically it's been here at CCC.
At the college, okay.
Yep, at the preschool building. So we just need to make
So
sure that we can do that again.
Why is it important, though, for those who were saying, well, who wants to have somebody help somebody do their tax returns?
Well, filing taxes is very important.
Yeah. Well, okay.
There's
So where
also
I'm going
great
with
things.
this, there's the how
Earned
this
income tax
originally.
credit,
So yeah, the
child
earned
tax credit.
income tax credit.
Yep.
The goal is to make sure that money stays locally. If people don't apply for it because
They
they do
can't
the
get it.
taxes on their own.
They can't get it back.
Okay. So what is the EITC?
The earned income tax
Right.
credit, child tax credit, education tax credit. These are all things that could go back into your pocket. Last year, we
Go ahead.
brought $560,000 back to the community.
So that's keeping $500,000 here locally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
You also have a Student United Way program. What is that?
It is our third year at the Auburn High School, and it's a student-driven version of the United Way. So it is also another mentorship opportunity, extracurricular club. We have 10 kids this year, ranging
So only in Auburn right now.
only in Auburn right now.
And are they given a pool of money to give out?
No, not quite. The youth funding panels from the 2013-14 era, that was something that maybe
Okay. So what do these 10 students do?
This is student driven. So what they wanted to do was start a personal care pantry for their school. So part of the funds from the 100th anniversary gala was used to kickstart Student United Way. And they saw a real need with their fellow students to start personal care pantry so they had access to it when they needed it. So we have that continuing. We have professional development opportunities with this group. We learn what the students want to do when they get, past high school, find a job, go to school, go
Do
to
they help
college.
you raise money?
No.
No?
No, not at this time, no. But again, it's really student driven, so it's based on what they want to do
And
as
is
a
this
group.
this idea of the personal care drive, you do this every year in the summer anyway, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is that different from this?
So the countywide personal care drive is when we collaborate with the community as a whole. We have drop-off boxes throughout all regions of Cayuga County. Last year we had 31 different locations, either community drop-offs or employee only for like manufacturers who aren't really open to the community. And community members donate to those boxes, and it lasts for about 2 months throughout the summer. We ended around our anniversary in October as kind of like our personal celebration for being 102 years old. And then we partner with CAP, their Food Providers Network program, to distribute everything out. This year we had 2,300 items go out to 17 different food pantries,
so it's
soup kitchens.
soaps, it's combs, personal care products
Yep.
that are donated by the community or by businesses?
Both.
Okay. Two last quick questions. One is, how are funds distributed? How do you go through that process in a minute
Sure.
or so?
Yep, we do. We have volunteers as part of a citizen review panel. So last year we actually had 28 volunteers. We divide them up into categories because we give out funding based on program. So we have education panels.
Safety net,
Yep.
health, and financial stability, okay?
Yep, so our volunteers are community leaders, community members, and they review the applications and visit the agencies.
And when will they make their determinations? After the campaign?
Oh yes, not until, we won't be doing that till April, May.
All right. Again, while you're here, how can you donate to the United Way, the Cayuga County United Way?
You can visit our website, unitedwayofcayugacounty.org, and click the donate button in the top right screen. You can mail a check payable to the United Way of Cayuga County to 2 State Street, Suite 2, Auburn, New York, 13021, or stop in and see us. And if your employer participates in a drive, you can give through your employer. You can check that if you go to our campaign toolkit on our website. There are direct links to employer platforms if your employer gives that way.
And there are, for those who donate, there's tax deductions involved as well. All right.
Yep, absolutely.
Our guests have been they're the Cayuga County United Way's Executive Director, Kathryn Dennis, and Campaign and Marketing Manager, Julisa Stone. I'm going to try to say it again. Szpaicher. It's going to get to. It's only been a week, right?
Yeah.
It's a week, so I'm hoping I'm going to get there. But thank you both. Good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, this is the last Inside Government, Beyond the Front Page for the fall 2024 semester here at the college. We hope to return in the spring with both Inside Government and Beyond the Front Page programs. You can always send us your ideas for guests or questions at cozguytho at AOL.com. Before we go, though, as we end, I want to thank all the students who make these shows possible. This is part of their coursework here at the college, and they would not be a reality without the staff and students here. Specifically, we want to thank our telecom director, Professor Laura Bailey, who has been running this program since January. Jeff Sesniak, who makes us sound good. I'm not sure he makes me look good, but that's a different issue. And Rick Lasha, who also makes this show go out and is a success. So thank you for all of your work. We will be back in the spring, but in between, enjoy the holidays. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cayuga Community College. Have a great holiday season and be safe.